Do you have to take action when it comes to conscious creation or not? And another question, is manifestation a mental game, a purely mental game, or does it have to do with physically embodying things and physically taking action? This is today's topic, and it will basically be a little bit of chit chat. It will really be a lot of, also revisiting things I've already talked about. But if you're new here, this might be new for you. And if not, go back to the other videos that I have shared. There's a lot on that topic already. But first things first, my name is Lydia Wilmsen. I'm a mindset and high performance coach. And here on my channel, I talk about all things conscious creation, manifestation, but all from a perspective for high achievers. So it's always for people who are very driven, who are into high performance, who are into getting things done and translating manifestation and conscious creation for them so that they don't have the feeling, oh my God, I just have to sit around and not do anything anymore. No, you can of course take action, and we will go into that today. And I also speak about business growth here, if you ever have your own business, about personal development. So it's basically a channel about everything, always from the lens of conscious creation and manifestation. If you want coaching, go to the description. There's a link where you can book one-to-one with me, or the Mind Mastery community, which is amazing. Lots of highly driven people in there who consciously create their reality. We have weekly group calls, always on Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central European time. So for the US peeps, it would be in the morning. Okay, so let's get into today's topic. Do you have to take action or not? Because there are so many people out there who say, yes, first level is you have to decide what you want, and you have to think about it and have assumptions about that. But then you also have to take action. You have to almost bring it into reality through taking action. And no, that's bullshit. Let me explain. But this idea of I have to take action is bullshit. If action is required, you will be drawn to it anyways. You will be doing it without even realizing. You will wake up one morning, look back and be like, oh wow, I went to the supermarket and I met this and that person there, and this led to this and that scenario. So that was the bridge of events. Because I took the action of going to that supermarket, this is how it happened. But the idea of going to the supermarket wasn't intentional action. It happened just by itself. You were called to do that. And this is the important piece. Yeah, of course you will do actions, because we walk around, we are humans, we experience the reality. We walk around. It's super nice to experience reality through our 5 senses. This is why we are here. But it doesn't come from the place of figuring out how and what to do. So yes, we do actions. I run my business. I do YouTube videos. I have clients. I make posts about business, all of those things. So I'm not sitting around at home just being in my mind and imagining things and then being bored out of my life because I don't take any action anymore. However, the action I take, I purely take because I want to take the action. So I'm recording a video because I want to bring videos out for people where I teach my way of doing things, where I teach my way of law of attraction, law of assumption, conscious creation, manifestation, business growth, all of that. It comes from my perspective and I want to bring it out there. I would be bored out of my mind if I was sitting on my pillow, my meditation pillow the whole day and just being in my mind. No, I want to be out there. I even yes, I go shopping. I buy things. I buy groceries and stuff. I could be oh, I visualize, and it's just randomly, someone tells me, oh, I'm going to bring you those things. No, I want to go to the supermarket. I want to engage with the world. So we will always take action. That's not the issue. Yes, of course, whatever you do, yes, of course, you will participate in daily life here, But the difference is when you use your mind to consciously create something, when you manifest consciously, it means it's an absolute mental game. You focus your mind on the scenarios that you want to experience. You focus your mind on only that what you want to experience, on the assumptions that you want to have, on the beliefs that you want to have, and you take your focus away from the things that you don't like. That doesn't mean that you don't pay bills anymore. That doesn't mean that if someone knocks on your door and comes into your house that you don't speak to them and you just pretend, oh, they are not there or whatever. No, you still engage with them. But in your mind, you're curating the reality that you want to have. And then you let it unfold. You basically just do the inner work and then you participate in your physical reality as a normal human being. I'm not going to stand in the supermarket where I have to pay and I'm just like, someone pays for me, and I stand there for 10 hours until someone pays for me or whatever. No, I'm just doing my stuff there. Of course, if I wanted to manifest someone paying me, paying for groceries, then I still would go there and pay. But I would focus on someone is paying for my groceries. That would be the only story I tell myself. Then I would still go into the supermarket and pay for the groceries. And at some point, someone would come up to me and I wouldn't even think about it. I wouldn't even entertain this like, ooh, who's paying for my groceries? I would just do the normal thing. And someone would come up to me and say like, hey, I have a good day. I'm like, your groceries are on me. Or I come to a cashier where the lady says or the guy says, hey, the person before you already paid. Your stuff is free. Like something would happen, but not because I now stand there and stop doing anything and wait for someone to pay. No, it would happen supernaturally, like if it was the most normal thing in the world. Very often it's that way. So I do my daily actions as per usual. I go pay my bills. I go buy my groceries. But if this was a scenario that I wanted to create, then I would focus all my mental power, not my actions, my mental power on that reality. I would live mentally in the reality of my groceries already paid. Someone pays for my groceries. Someone always pays for my groceries. And even if I pay for my own groceries, I wouldn't go into the reality of like, oh, it didn't work. No one paid for my groceries. I had to pay for it. No, I just would not think about it. I would just pay for my groceries. And then I would still go into my mind of like, someone paid for my groceries. Someone always pays for my groceries. This is my reality now. Super random because really it's not very important, but you get the point. So it's really happening in here. The work you do in here, and then it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what you do in your physical reality. It matters if you hold assumptions about your physical reality. If you hold assumptions of, oh my God, if I do that, everything will break down. Or like, if I now keep going, keep doing the paying for my groceries, no one will ever pay for it. Like if you have negative assumptions about your actions, yes, they will push out, of course. So this is why mental hygiene is so important. And also like watch the last video where I talked about how you really deal with the situations, like how you use your physical reality right now to focus even more on your assumptions and your new reality. Like you can use it to your advantage, even if there are things happening that are not in your of your preference, so to say. Even then, you can use everything that happens to your advantage. And go back to the other video, I'm also going to link it, where I talk all about that. But for today, it's really about understanding you can forget everything about what you're doing in physical reality. It doesn't matter. Just keep living your life. Do whatever you want. If your mental game is on, if your mind is strong, you can do the direct opposite in your physical reality and it won't matter. Let's take relationships. If you're working on a new relationship or you want something in your current relationship, you want a shift in your partner. Let's take this one. And then you constantly go to your partner and you complain, oh, you're not doing it, like you're having a fight with them. It doesn't matter if you focus again in your mind on my partner always brings me flowers and is super attentive or whatever it is that you want to manifest or want to create in your reality. If this is the only story you tell yourself, you could go to your partner and tell your partner, please bring me flowers. You could complain, you could do whatever, it wouldn't matter. Of course, if you dwell in that story then when you are complaining, and of course complaining is not nice, but I just want to tell you, your mind, your mental game always trumps any action you're doing. Or let's take a relationship where you're working on creating a new relationship for yourself. It's always the question, should I reach out? Should I not reach out? Should I text them? Should I not text them? Should I do whatever? It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter as long as you stay in your mind in the story that you prefer, in the story that you want to experience. Then you can send them messages, you can not send them messages, you can have a gigantic freak out in front of their house if you want to. If your mind is strong in those moments, it doesn't matter. And it could even be a bridge of the unfolding. It could even be that this freak out moment that you have in front of their house then leads to a meetup or something else, a date or whatever. So I'm just telling you, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you focus your mind. So you can drop all the ideas, even when it comes to business. Should I record this video now? Should I not record it? Should I reach out to this person? Should I make this post? Should I not make this post? Yada, yada, yada. It doesn't matter as long as your mind is focused on my business is blowing up. Everything always works out. New clients come out of nowhere. I always have amazing clients. My business makes huge amounts of money. And this is the only story. If, of course, you have two stories, if you have that story of my business is blowing up, but then like, oh, where are the clients? And this person said no again. Then, of course, you have the old story, the other story. And then you get like what I also have talked about, the back and forth, the hot and cold. The movement, non-movement stuff. Or in the end, no movement. So if you shift in your mind, this will of course show up in your reality. So it is really about mind power, and then you can do whatever you want in your business. And if your mind is extremely focused and extremely, at least 80%, let's take the 80-20%, consistency, 80% throughout the day in the new story. Like aim for that. Don't aim for 100%. We are humans. All of us drop out of that. So aim for 80%. If you have that, then you will guide it to the actions if actions are even necessary. If actions are necessary, you will be guided to them and you will do them naturally, and you will only become aware of them afterwards that you did them. Only afterwards. And it won't be like if you try to figure out the how is it going to work? Or if you try to curate the how, I need to do this and then this and then this and then this. Then you are in the figuring out the how, and you are not in the scenario of it has already worked. It's already working. It's done. It happens so often to me when it comes to money, even to my clients. My clients have amazing money stories. Mine are usually a bit smaller. I have to start also making creating money stories like them, but I'm focused on a few other things. They make like 80 or 100K out of nothing. For me, it's like 5 to 10K out of nothing, like unexpected money. The rest, of course, comes from normal business, so to say. But those unexpected amounts of money are usually a bit smaller, so not 80K. But they state in the story, I make huge amounts of money. I make freaking amounts of money. And then a month later, they had it in their bank account, freaking 80K. This is not a small sum. This is a big sum, especially for people who usually don't make that kind of money, And other people, 100K, reimbursement for something unexpected that, was totally out of the blue. So those things happen, and it is not through how do I have to do that? No, they just stayed in their mind, in the new scenario, they had their mental game full on, at least 80%, and then it happened. No actions would have brought that to them. No, and it's the same with people who think like, oh, I follow this strategy or this strategy. If your mind is on it will never work, then you can do whatever strategy and it won't work. And if your mind is on like, this is going to work, yay, I'm going to do this strategy, and your mind really is on, this is going to work, then it will work. But not because of the strategy, but because of the mind power behind it. So for you today, the main message is, stop focusing on all this action stuff. And what about embodying? Embodying will come naturally to you the more you step into the new story. The more you embody, it is working. I have what I want. And what I teach is EMDR because it gets rid of the resistance. In somatic practices and EMDR because it gets rid of the resistance. So that, yes, I teach, but I don't teach it from a let's take action place. I teach it from a place, do that to help you to stay in the scenario that you want to stay. So it basically is, again, to help your mind to not go into the negative scenarios. It helps you to stay laser focused on that, what you want. This is why I teach EMDR, and not in order to take some action. No. It's a mental game. It's a mind game. So if you want to manifest money, love, or whatever, it starts here and it ends here. It's not about now I have to go out and walk like the rich bitch or whatever. Like, no. But if, of course, like they say, or yes, we walk like that person, but it doesn't mean like, how do I move? How would I move like super fancy as that person? It always comes from the place, like embodiment comes from the place of saturating your mind so that you live in the reality of that is me now. That is me now. And then, of course, your behavior will follow. But you don't have to go and pretend to be something that you're not, especially if you already, or if you're still focused on I'm not that. Then it's pretending and it will not work. It always, like, action follows your mind. And if your mind game is super strong, you will be naturally led to the actions that you have to take if you have to take some. So that is my message for you today. Focus on the inner game. Focus on that. That's all that's necessary. Find out the beliefs that are hindering at the moment, that are going against what you want. Release them with EMDR. Go to Mind Mastery Community, join us and learn it there. And it will be a natural flow. It will be a natural flow of unfolding for you. So this is what you have to focus on. And if action is required, you will be naturally led to that. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to figure out what do I have to do in order to. No, none of your business. Okay, that's it for today. Until the next video.